Good afternoon, everyone. It is now 12 o'clock, so I will get started. I'm Phil Satlof. I'm a program manager at Blue Raster, and I'm going to talk today about configuring, extending, and customizing web applications, and also building customized configurable applications. First, I want to thank everybody for joining me on this cold day for most of us. In normal times, if I had the 12 o'clock slot, I would make a joke about how I'm standing between you and your lunch, but hopefully you have it right there at your desk with you and you're all set there. A little bit about Blue Raster. We are specialists in GIS and web app development. We do a lot of web mapping applications, a lot with the ArcGIS platform apps, and enterprise image server. We do a lot of data analysis. We've a small business. We've been around for almost 20 years now, and we are headquartered in Arlington, Virginia, and our clients are worldwide. We serve governments, commercial private clients, nonprofits, NGOs, everybody out there. Right now we're working with the town of Chapel Hill. We're creating some really cool dashboards and visualizations for them, with them. We also work for many federal agencies, including USAID on their demographic and health survey program. And we also do field GIS. We work with a lot of historic gardens and cemeteries, including the historic Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn, with workforce and mobile apps and collector and survey 123. These are just a few clients that I thought might be of interest to this group. Of course, the town of Chapel Hill, state of West Virginia, Minnesota, South Dakota. Over the past year, we've done a lot of work with helping states' health departments stand up their COVID dashboards, and also federal agencies, and of course, National Geographic, because this is a GIS conference. Okay, so again, our agenda today. First, I'm going to talk about some configurable right out of the box applications that we've done in the ArcGIS platform and Power BI as well. Then a little category I call Configurable Plus. Then I'm going to show where we've taken configurable applications and really customized them. And then I'm going to show an example of where we've done a completely custom application that's highly configurable, as sort of a private version of ArcGIS Online web app builder, if you will. The configurable apps, you're very familiar with them, your dashboards, web app builder, story maps, hub. And I thought I would start with Experience Builder. Experience Builder is one of the newer offerings from Esri, and we have been using it lately in the past, I'd say 8 to 10 months extensively. And I'm just going to show an example of something we did over the summer with a group called NatureServe on behalf of their client, the ASEAN Center for Biodiversity. So this is all completely out of the box Experience Builder here. All this navigation, it's completely configurable right in Experience Builder. Just going to go into here. This is the Biodiversity tab. Now this is going to look familiar to you. This is your ArcGIS Online web map here, but there is a really powerful set of configurable widgets that are available within Experience Builder for filtering and for layering, for bringing in metadata. So I really do recommend that you try it if you haven't tried it yet. You can get this really nice look here. This looks like a customized website. These are cards. That's their terminology in Experience Builder. And here we have them linking to an ArcGIS dashboard that is actually embedded right here within the Experience Builder. And we also have some content that we built using ArcGIS Pro Desktop, and we created some GIFs, and we just have them here. And all of this, you don't need a developer. A GIS analyst can handle everything here, and it's can give you this really nice, professional and crisp looking experience with all of your familiar ArcGIS platform tools like web maps and dashboards. Now, not everything is Esri. There are other companies out there like Microsoft. Microsoft has Power BI. That's their business intelligence platform. And it is cheesy to say, but it's very powerful and it's highly, highly configurable. Right out of the box, if you're an Office 365 organization, you probably already have it. You can connect to hundreds of data sources. You can visualize your data, obviously. You can share it across your organization internally or externally out. You can embed it into your SharePoints or websites. And you can create reports and dashboards and mobile-friendly dashboards. Esri has created the ArcGIS maps for Power BI custom visualization. It's really cool. It's like a mini ArcGIS Online that's right inside of Power BI. You don't even need an organizational account or any Esri account to use it, but if you do have an organizational account, you're going to get some very, very rich functionality in there. And over the summer, we found that a lot of states are using Power BI now, and then they also want to do some mapping in there, and they might have a GIS department and another department that one uses Power BI, one is using ArcGIS, but you can really unite those two things together in Power BI if you want to. I'm just going to show a little report that I've built here in Power BI a little while ago. So this is called a Power BI app. It's currently in the Power BI service in our Blue Raster tenant. And this is just a simple dashboard to show the locations of bicycle collisions in Montgomery County, Maryland, where I live. I just pulled this data right from the Montgomery County Open Data site. I'm sure a lot of you have those sites where that one is Socrata, where you have data that's up there waiting to be visualized. Super easy to connect to it in Power BI. And what's really cool about this is that it's all cross-filterable. So everything can be filtered. Each visualization can filter on the other visualizations that are on my canvas here. And these point data are in the Power BI service right now. So I acquired them and they're living in Power BI. They're showing up on the ArcGIS visual. And there's some, this is how a user would see the ArcGIS visual. And there's some stuff you can allow the user to do. You can allow them to turn layers on and off. They can pick a base map, change it. But if you're a report builder or an editor, you have a lot more options available to you. But before I get there, I just want to show something neat about these Power BI apps, is that you can embed any other web content right here into this app. So whereas I was showing the ArcGIS Experience Builder a minute ago, this is kind of like a Power BI version of that. I just looked around, I saw your beautiful North Carolina 1 map. This is ArcGIS Web App Builder app, and I'm able to just pull it right in here. So if I'm a certain department that uses Power BI and I want everybody to go to that destination, I can pull in assets from any web embeddable content right here into this Power BI app. Just going to do a little bit of show you the building tools. Now I know these things are small, it's kind of hard to see, but if you do have that ArcGIS Online organizational account and you sign in with it when you're building your report here in Power BI, you're going to find that there's some really cool tools here for usage. So you can pull in, you can make an infographic with data from the Esri Living Atlas service or their demographics data sets. So if I am feeling like, does age have a correlation to bicycle collisions? Well, now I can see the average age, median age of my map canvas here is 38.7. Maybe that means something to somebody. I can also pull in a reference layer. Again, Esri has provided some demographics data sets. There's data from the Living Atlas, but here I can pull in anything from my ArcGIS Online organizational account. And that can be ArcGIS Online or it could be Portal. So if I have curated some specific base maps or data sets, I can pull in layer after layer after layer of data and display it right here on this map canvas in Power BI. And there are some really advanced analysis tools that are available now. So where I can do cross filtering of layers that are in Power BI and layers that are in ArcGIS Online right here in my Power BI report. Things like there's a drive time analysis here. I could do a buffer and select some points and do some filtering that way. But there's also join fields and just some really cool stuff. So I really do encourage you to check out Power BI and the ArcGIS visual. This is a category that I call the Configurable Plus category. This is a dashboard we did for Calaveras County, California. I'll go to the live view. It's a very standard COVID dashboard. You've probably seen a million of these things. And the only reason why I call it the Configurable Plus category is that probably this happened to a lot of you earlier on where you built a dashboard and you were getting a data dump every day at a certain time, and it was up to you to update the feature service that was powering this or whatever you're using. And in this case, for Calaveras County and a few others, we've completely automated that using Python scripts and task schedulers. So, you probably already know about this, but just in case, I always do learn something at a session that you can build one of these dashboards and have the data update happening seamlessly, on a time-based increment, so you don't have to wait around for that file anymore. Also, in the Configurable Plus category, this is a screenshot of the town of Chapel Hill experience that we're working on. Now, Dave and Chase from the town of Chapel Hill are going to show this in depth tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. So I recommend that you go to that. So I'm not going to get into it too much, but I'm just going to say that in addition to the dashboards and the experience builder, behind the scenes, we have an Amazon Web Services AWS Lambda that is taking data from the Orange County CAD, computer-aided dispatch system, and it's actually doing some ETL operations and formatting the data and pumping it into a feature service, which then is going to end up onto the dashboard map. And Dave and Chase will talk about that tomorrow, but this is definitely a Configurable Plus category. All right, and now this is a category I like to call Configurable Plus Custom. So this is a project called Global Forest Watch Map Builder. They're part of the World Resources Institute based in DC. And this is a mashup of custom front-end analysis tools and UI user interface, with the backend being ArcGIS Online, so that this application can be templated and made available to almost anybody out there who can get a free ArcGIS Online account. They can pull down this application, they can put their own data in it, and then they can make their own application that they can then put into their website. So let's go here. So this is the map builder page at globalforestwatch.org, and it just kind of explains that there's canned data sets or your own data sets that can be used. There is analysis that has been created for use in this application. It's all hosted on ArcGIS Online, and it's available to almost anybody. And this is just an example of a group in Paraguay that's using the map builder to create their own their maps for their own website. So all this data can be living in ArcGIS Online, and this application code is bundled up in the app, and you can create a really cool, very customized experience that has a backend of ArcGIS Online. And finally, I'm going to get to a category that I call custom configurable. Now, this kind of switches the order of things. So there's a group called Health Landscape. They're part of the American Academy of Family Physicians. Blue Raster has been working with them for about 10 years now. And they, going back before there was an ArcGIS Online, they had a vision of creating modules that have geographic functionality in them, GIS functionality in them, and then being able to deploy those modules for a myriad of different solutions and clients. And so this is the current generation of the health landscape tools. This is a fully custom application that uses the Esri JavaScript API 4x version, and React and Node and a few other technologies. But we have created these different mapping modules for the health landscape team that they can then configure and deploy to their various organizations around the world. So for example, here's one called the 500 Cities Mapper. It has data from the 500 Cities projects. Let's just take a look here. Charlotte. So using this tool, I can layer data sets on top of each other. And now I can see where those data sets interact and where they layer up with each other, over each other. So now I can really focus in, if this is an area that I want to look at where people are binge drinking, smoking, they don't have a lot of leisure time, there's obesity, and they're not getting enough sleep, I can see that these census tracts are going to be the areas where I want to concentrate my resources on. And this data can be almost anything. So I go over here. Now the state of Virginia has hired Health Landscape to create a deployment for them. So this is now Health Landscape Virginia. And this is something we call community data portal. And this is just for displaying just a choropleth map, basically allowing you to bin data by categories and display a choropleth map. Well, there's no data in that one. That wasn't a good choice. Oh, here we go. And display a choropleth map of different data indicators. But now you see here, we also have the 500 cities mapper in there. And this is called a workforce mapper. And This is a map my data where it allows me to add my own data set to this deployment. If I go right over here, now I'm on the American Medical Association website. And the American Medical Association is also a client of Health Landscape. So now these same tools are now deployed for use by the American Medical Association. And you can see they have their own color scheme and their branding here. So the reason why I wanted to show that was just to illustrate that the concept of a configurable application, if you're not finding what you want to do out of the box or extended or even a custom blend of it, you can build your own version of it and use that same strategy wherever you might want to. And this just shows how, the health landscape team, they have different config files for each of their deployments. So they pick and choose which one of their modules they want to put into their deployment. They build a config file, it's in GitHub, and then they deploy that app. Here it is on the AMA site. Here it is in the state of Arizona. And that is the conclusion of my demonstration today. I hope it was helpful in some ways, and I will be sticking around for questions and answers. And again, tune in tomorrow at 10:30 for the Town of Chapel Hill demo. It's going to be really cool. And if you have any questions you'd like to email me, my email is psatlof@blueraster.com. So I will stop the screen share now, and I'm going to check for, actually, no, I'm going to leave that up, and I'm going to check for any chats over in this thing here. So I have a question from Jared Poe. For Health Landscape, is the data built in, or can you also import your own data? That's a fantastic question. I can't believe I didn't cover that. The answer is both. There are data sets that are curated by the Health Landscape team that you would probably want to use. But the whole point of this application is, yeah, you want to bring in your own data. Maybe that data is restricted. Maybe it's private. Maybe this deployment is only going on your intranet. There are some insurance companies who are using this with highly sensitive data. So yes, you can absolutely go ahead and bring your own data in. And since it's highly configurable, that schema can be in play. If you want your data formatted this way, you don't want to change any schema, the application can be adapted to display it that way. Jared, I don't know if Jared is seeding these questions, because these are awesome questions. He asked me, do the Power BI functions use credits with ArcGIS Online? The answer is no, they do not. There are some rules around the ArcGIS visual, especially if you want to make it fully public facing. There are certain limitations, or not limitations, just rules you have to follow, like that data has to be already that long if you want to share it publicly. If you're keeping it internally, there's a geocoder, you can geocode your addresses. But if you're going to publish that out for the entire web to see, then those locations have to be already in a XY format. But no, there's no credits at all. And Esri is making a lot of investment in it. They've been updating it a lot, and it's got some really cool stuff. Well, I've got a few more minutes left, so I'm just gonna stick around here, and if anybody has any questions, put them into the chat. I have a question from Chase. How would someone get started with Experience Builder? That's a great question. You need your ArcGIS Online account, of course, but then you just go to experience.arcgis.com, You sign in there, your account will work with it. There's also other ways to do it. If you're already in ArcGIS Online in your content, you can create an experience there in your content page. But you're going to need some web. You're not actually, you don't have to have a map. There's no rule that says you have to have a map, but in order to do something interesting, you're probably going to want some maps and some data in there. What's really neat about the experience builder, you can have many, many different data sources, many, many different web maps. So you can really do something extensive in there. Well, I think things have quieted down. I'm going to stop my screen share, but I'll keep the chat open. If folks would like to chat, please go ahead.